Have you ever wondered how a single act of kindness could transform a life? This is the story of Luna, a dog who went from forgotten to cherished, and the woman who saw beyond the matted fur to find a soul worth saving. On a quiet afternoon in the suburbs, as the last rays of sunlight streamed across the tiled streets, Claire was walking back from the small grocery store near her home. She had lived in the neighborhood for over a decade, and nothing much ever changed there. The same row of trees lined the pavement, the same shopkeepers waved at her, and the same routine carried her through the weeks. Yet that day, something unusual caught her attention. Near the corner of a closed bakery, curled up against the cold wall, was what at first glance seemed like a pile of dirty rags. Claire slowed her pace. As she stepped closer, her heart clenched, the pile moved. Two eyes, buried beneath layers of matted fur, stared up at her with a mixture of fear and exhaustion. It was a dog, though it hardly looked like one. Its coat was tangled into thick clumps that dragged heavily against the floor. Dirt, leaves, and even pieces of plastic had woven themselves into its fur over time. The smell of neglect hung in the air. The dog's body was trembling. Whether from cold, hunger, or fear, Claire couldn't tell. She crouched down, speaking softly. "Hey there, sweetheart," she whispered. The dog flinched at her voice, trying to make itself smaller. But Claire noticed the eyes, tired, yet pleading. That single look was enough. Without hesitation, she placed her groceries aside and reached out her hand. At first, the dog didn't move. Then, almost imperceptibly, it leaned forward, nose twitching, and brushed its face against her palm. It was the smallest gesture of trust, but it shattered the invisible wall between them. Claire knew she couldn't leave the dog there. Gathering her courage, she wrapped her scarf around the frail body and gently lifted it into her arms. The dog was lighter than expected, its ribs pressing sharply against her. It whimpered softly, but did not resist. Claire carried it home, whispering soothing words all along the way. Once inside, she placed the dog on a blanket in her living room. The first challenge was clear: grooming. The fur was so matted that the dog could barely walk. Claire fetched scissors, a brush, and warm water, preparing for what she knew would be hours of work. She started slowly, carefully cutting away the thick mats. Each snip revealed patches of irritated skin underneath, evidence of months, perhaps years without care. Sometimes the dog flinched, sometimes it whimpered, but gradually it seemed to understand Claire's intent. "Almost there," she murmured. "You're safe now." The process took nearly 3 hours. By the end, a pile of discarded fur lay beside them, heavy and grimy. Underneath, a small but beautiful dog began to emerge. Its coat, though patchy for now, had hints of soft cream and white. The dog's eyes, no longer hidden, shone more brightly, though still wary. Claire gave it a warm bath, gently massaging soap into its skin, washing away layers of dirt. The dog stood quietly in the water, shivering at first, then slowly relaxing under her touch. When Claire wrapped it in a towel and dried its fur, the dog sighed an almost human expression of relief. That night, Claire placed a bowl of food beside the dog. It ate cautiously at first, glancing at her between each bite as if to make sure it was allowed. Claire sat nearby, simply watching, her heart swelling with emotion. She decided then and there, this dog would not go back to the streets. In the days that followed, Claire named the dog Luna, after the moon, something beautiful that had endured the darkness. Luna was timid at first, often hiding in corners or flinching at sudden noises. But Claire was patient. Every morning she greeted Luna with a gentle smile and soft words. She introduced toys, soft bedding, and a routine of meals and walks. Slowly, trust grew. One morning, as Claire prepared breakfast, Luna approached her unprompted. The little dog nudged her leg and wagged her tail hesitantly at first, then with growing confidence. It was the first tail wag Claire had seen, and tears sprang to her eyes. From that day forward, Luna blossomed. Her fur grew back, soft and fluffy. Her eyes sparkled with life. She began to run in the yard, chase after balls, and curl up beside Claire on the couch. Each small milestone, her first bark of joy, her first playful jump, was a celebration. But more than the physical transformation, it was the emotional bond that truly marked the change. Luna followed Claire from room to room, always staying close, as if afraid to lose her again. At night, she slept at the foot of Claire's bed, breathing peacefully. Claire often wondered about Luna's past. How long had she lived on the streets? How had she survived with such matted fur? She would never know. But what mattered was the present. Luna was no longer astray, no longer unseen. She was loved. Months later, Claire looked back at a photo she had taken the day she found Luna, the broken, unrecognizable creature with eyes hidden beneath a tangle of fur. She compared it to the Luna sitting before her now, playful and radiant, and the contrast was overwhelming. Luna had not just been rescued, she had been reborn, and in many ways so had Claire. She had opened her heart to a creature in need. And in return, she had gained a companion who gave her unconditional love. Their story was one of healing, of patience, and of hope. Every time Claire walked through the neighborhood now, people smiled at Luna, often remarking on how beautiful she was. They had no idea of the journey behind those bright eyes and soft fur, but Claire knew, and she carried that story with her, a reminder that kindness, even a single moment of it, can change a life forever.